Never said I needed someone to listen to my frustrations, my flaws, mess ups, and limitations. Empty bottle again. No better way to clear my head. Am I slipping to the distance? Will I find time to show up, make a difference? You know yourself. You're never gonna let it go. You know yourself. You're never gonna let it go. So I bring the bottle. Empty bottle again and again. Responsibilities leave my head. Is it over? Like I told you. Are you happy with a broken heart? Are you lonely? You know yourself. You're never gonna let it go. You know yourself. You're never gonna let it go. You know yourself. You're never gonna let it go. You know yourself. You're never gonna let it go. You know yourself. You're never gonna let it go. You know yourself. You're never gonna let it go. So I brought the bottle home.
Hey, good evening, everybody. That was Lissa Dee, a brand new video from Lissa Dee, my guest tonight. We're going to get a lot more into that when I introduce her in just a moment. But welcome to another empowering episode of The Unstoppable Singer. I am Danielle Tucker. I'm a singer, I'm a vocal coach, and your host tonight. The Unstoppable Singer is a live interview style show where we dive into the lives of real professional singers who have achieved some incredible feats in their careers. And we explore the challenges and the triumphs that come with a life under the bright lights, and we learn what being unstoppable truly means to them. So if you're passionate about music and the stories of remarkable artists, then you're in the right place. So stick around because I'm about to introduce my amazing guest tonight, who you just saw. Brace yourselves for the extraordinary evening with Lissa Dee. Lissa's journey through the world of music is truly inspiring. Hailing from New Jersey, her parents' passion for music ignited her own artistic journey. She recently hit her stride in San Diego's vibrant music scene on her solo adventure. Beyond music, Lissa is a passionate advocate for mental health awareness, a fitness enthusiast, and a champion of women finding their voices. Her mission is both empowering and inspiring. So join us as we celebrate Lissa Dee's journey, her achievements, and the power of music and advocacy. Lissa Dee, welcome to the spotlight tonight. Hello.
You. Hi. What an intro.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. That was very uplifting,
Great.
so I feel less nervous.
Oh, good. Well, I'm very worthy of a great introduction, and love your new video. I can't wait to talk all about it. that's really how we connected, is because you have this new video out that you're promoting. But first, why don't you kind of just give us the scoop on what's going on in your career and your life right now? Where do we find you today?
Yeah, so today I recently left my 9 to 5, which was a very scary thing, but I just decided it was really time for me to get serious. And my voice coach, Taylin Rae, also really encouraged me that, I could do it. So it's been a little bit scary, but a lot of really great things have been happening. The video, like you saw, I just had a release party at the same location where we shot the video. So I got to kind of show my friends my new genre, um, which was really exciting. And I have a few shows coming up. So I'm just kind of planning out my year. I'll be going to Nashville, and I have just a lot of exciting things that I now have time to do. So I'm ready for it.
Wow, that is exciting. Congratulations on everything. And I'm so glad that you mentioned Taylin. She is in the chat tonight with us. Love you, Taylin.
Ooh.
Thanks for joining us. Thanks for connecting Lissa and I as well.
Yeah.
Well, so let's go ahead and just jump into the video, because we've already seen it. We can already see how great it is. Just tell me all about how this video came to be, how the new song came to be.
Yeah, so Empty Bottle, let's see. The song is about mental health struggles that I had, and, turning to the bottle, quite honestly, when I was pretty young, because I went through a lot with my family, and I just really didn't know how to deal with my emotions as a young woman. While both of my parents were very loving, they were a little bit absent at the time because they were both going through a lot. So I just, didn't have songwriting, didn't really know that I could write, wasn't into fitness like I am. So I definitely use social engagements and drinking and partying as my outlet. And looking back, it's so, you know, inspiring to myself to see that I could have really turned my life around. So Empty Bottle is a metaphor. The chorus says, you're never going to change. So it's just a metaphor for being able to do that. So the song, I wrote the song with Taylin and another songwriter, Greg Montanti, and we sat on the floor and with bean bags, and we had such an awesome session. And it was just so much fun. And after that, we recorded with a couple of session musicians who were just the most incredible people I've ever met. James East, Nucci on the drums, and Greg was on the guitar as well. So it was just really magical. I'd never done anything like that. And for anyone who doesn't know what session players are, it's players who you give them the music that day, you tell them the vibe, and they just do it in like 20 minutes. And before you know it, you're all grooving. You're just like, wow, this is it. This is happening. I have the chills. So it's such a magical feeling. I'm sure you've experienced it, where you just don't know what's happening, but before you know it, a song is being made. So that was the amazing recording experience. I was fortunate to have been able to have an incredible lead guitar on the song, who is touring with Garth Brooks. That was also introduced to me through Taylin. So I'm just so grateful for her. So it was kind of unfolding in just such a magical way that I felt like a video had to be done. It was like, this is not not going to happen.
Yeah.
So I, with the song and like the vibe, I was like, I need a speakeasy. I need
Mm,
something dark and moody. And 7 Grand has been such an iconic place and just so cool. And I've always felt magic when I walked in there. So I was like, oh, I wonder if they'll let me do it. And they did. All I did was
mhm.
ask, which is something I really used to be afraid of doing because I would get, rejected a lot.
Yeah.
Um, and they said yes. So I asked them, I was like, all right, I have a location, I have a song. Now I need someone to film it. So I just asked an incredible film studio in Oceanside called Cinematic Art and Sound.
Mm.
And I was like, I'll do some of the work, This is an incredible opportunity. We can film it at this bar. Let's work together. And they agreed to. So it was such a fun experience, and I hope I can do many more that are just as amazing.
Wow. That is an incredible experience from start to finish, and just all the way from the writing and seeing your idea, your concept come to life, then to go into the studio and have that. It is truly a magical experience when you have something in your mind, you know how you want it to sound, but these musicians, they've never heard it before, but they just magically pull it together, through just pure skill and talent. It's really incredible. And then, to take it to the next level with a video like you have is just amazing. So I'm super happy for you and congratulate you on all of that. I'm curious to know, is this song a single for you? Is it part of an EP or an album, or what's in the works?
I have a lot of songs that I've written and some that I've recorded. So I guess it could be an album at this point. I was
Mhm.
I was saying EP, and then now it's just turned into so many more songs that it might as well be an album. So
Yeah.
right now I have about 7 songs. My next song that I'll be releasing is called Johnny Said, and that one will be out, I'm hoping, in the next few months. So
Mhm.
yeah.
That's great. That's great. And how are you promoting the video now? I'm assuming, do you have it distributed on streaming platforms like Spotify and Apple Music?
I do. I've just been trying to promote it a lot more. And I know it will happen and it takes time. I'm just thinking this video is so good and I can see it being played in a show like Yellowstone or something that's, got that vibe. So
Mhm.
those are my goals, and I really want to make it happen somehow. I've just been emailing like anyone. I just spend all day. That's, my new 9 to 5. So
That's
I'm
the new
like,
9 to 5.
yeah.
Yeah. That's great. You mentioned that you have some gigs coming up. Um, are these gigs like original shows for you where you're doing all original music or some covers? What are those like?
There'll be a mix of covers and my originals.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And do you go
And
out
it
with a
will
full
be,
band, or is it usually just yourself?
it's a mix. I do have a show with a full band in December, December 9th at 7 Grand, which is the best place ever.
Mhm.
So I'm really excited because that's going to be the first time I've played live with a full band in about a year.
Mhm.
So
Wow.
yeah.
Oh, something to look forward to. That's amazing. That's amazing.
Mhm.
Well, I want to know a lot more about you and what led to such an incredible experience that you've just had. Um, let's go as far back as you can remember and tell me what ignited music in your life as a young person. Was your family musical, or how did this journey begin for you?
my mom was an opera singer. She still sings as a passion, but her goals were really, you know, she aspired to be at the Met and just do really great things with opera. It didn't exactly happen that way, but she always was singing and involved in groups. So that definitely inspired me. And my dad is not musical, but his family is. So a lot of memories I have growing up are us during the holidays playing music together, singing the Chili Peppers around the Christmas tree, which is weird, but I
Great
actually
choice for
have
Christmas.
I actually have a Red Hot Chili Peppers tattoo.
Oh.
So that's kind of why I have it. Just reminds me of my family. So they inspired me to pursue music, but I wouldn't say any of them, you know, thought that my dreams would be as big as they are. So it's just probably a little bit random for some of them at first. But when I went to college, I did, you know, go for a music major my first year. I went to an all girls school when I first went to college on the East Coast.
Hmm.
Um, it was very interesting, but I got a really big scholarship that year and I was like, whatever, I'll just do it. And it wasn't, you know, the college experience that I really wanted. So then I ended up transferring to Penn State where I didn't do a music major, but I learned a lot about film. I did a communications major and learned about film, journalism law, and telecommunications, which definitely tied into music. So it was very, it was good. I do kind of wish that I went to a more music driven school, but you know, that's okay.
What was happening in your
uh,
life at the time during college? Were you still involved with music or were you just focused on your studies at the time?
I I was kind of doing little things, like little gigs at coffee shops and things like that, but I
Mhm.
wasn't very focused on pursuing it because I just kind of felt like I didn't know where it was going. I didn't want to be a music teacher and I was just kind of thinking, what am I going to do with this?
Mhm.
And I didn't believe in myself at the time.
Mm.
So that's, you know, kind of where it was on pause for a little bit. And after college, I started songwriting.
Mhm.
So I just I started to work on music again and someone said to me, you know, have you ever written a song? And I just was baffled. I was like, why would I do that? And then I started just writing and ideas were flowing and it was really awesome. And that's definitely a therapy, I think. And it really helped me to center my feelings and cope with a lot of the emotions that I had growing up.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, it's wonderful. Definitely a wonderful outlet to have and a healthy coping mechanism for sure.
Mhm, mhm.
So after college, what happened then? Where did the songwriting lead to for you?
I worked with a person in my hometown. His name is DJ name is Tie Dye Kai. He's actually doing really well now.
Mhm.
We worked on a few songs together and that was still back in New Jersey. And then I moved to California kind of out of random because my friends were encouraging me to. And I visited and I fell in love with it.
Mhm.
So,
Was it did you was it for music? Were you thinking, if I'm gonna really do this, I've got to get out to California, or was it for other reasons?
for sure, that was my drive. I was like, you know what? I think I can do it. And California feels like the place that it's going to happen.
You had New York City right next door, though.
I know. That's what everyone says. They're like, why didn't you just go to New York? I was like, I don't know.
California's a lot. The weather is a lot better.
Yeah. I wanted to get out of the snow too.
Yeah.
It's so cold there. So I was over it.
Yeah.
But
So
after
you get out to California, and what happens then?
I came out, it took me a little while to gain the confidence to try to meet people and do open mics, but finally I did. And after doing a couple of open mics, I through other people met my old band Blazing Jane.
Okay.
And we had an awesome time together. We recorded 2 albums, and we did a lot of different little festivals and shows, and different like little videos, and it was really fun. So about a year ago, we decided to part ways, and I, after meeting with Taylin and everything, she was just encouraging me, like, you can do it. Why don't you just write your own songs? You don't need, to rely on a band, because I was really just afraid. I was like, what's going to happen?
Yeah.
And she was like, you can do it, So I just started working on my own songs and recording them. And that's kind of my journey up to now. So
Yeah. Okay. So you said, getting into that's such a like courageous and bold step to take, to move clear across the country. I'm making an assumption that you didn't know many people out here, because you said you had to like, get into networking, but to just kind of come out with a completely clean slate and build, from the ground up, that's got to be like scary. Were you scared to do that?
I was, yeah, it was really, really hard. I know I'm smiling, but it was really
You laugh
hard.
now.
Yeah. I did kind of leave out. So my parents, they were always driving me to auditions and different things that I wanted to do for music, whether it be, on an audition for a college. My dad drove me all the way up to West Virginia from New Jersey. It was like 7 hours for me to audition for the music program, and just different things that, people would offer me something that would be a scam. And so my parents, especially my dad, he was not very excited to hear that I was moving out to California to pursue music, because he just saw me, struggle so much. And I wasn't confident with my voice. So I don't think I was a very good singer until the past few years, honestly. So he probably was thinking the same, like, what are you doing? So yeah, it was really hard, and it's still tough because, not to have my family here, they understand what I'm doing, but they don't really understand the mountains that I've climbed. So I just, I hope that I can do an East Coast tour to really show them what I'm all about sometime.
Yeah, definitely. Um, how long have you been out here in California now?
It's been like 5 years, I think.
Oh, okay. So it's been a
Yeah.
minute. Yeah.
Yeah.
You mentioned that in the past year or two, and I'm sure this has a lot to do with the songwriting leading up to, releasing the video and everything, that you got your stride in the music community. So I imagine that means that you feel like you're a part of the music community, that you're kind of thriving in the music community. What were some of those steps that you feel you were taking that kind of brought you to this place today? Was it, you mentioned some open mics, you mentioned working with a vocal coach, but what were some of the actions that um, that you took that led to here?
I At first, when I was just kind of going to open mics and I didn't know anyone, I was talking about my music any chance I got. And
Mhm.
um how I met one of the members from my old band was from mentioning something at a barbecue. There were some people that I didn't know, and someone said, "Oh, all I do is work and produce music." And I'd never met him, and I was like, "Oh, I'm a singer." And then
Huh?
we started talking, and then we actually made a song together too. And then he introduced me to his friend because I started reaching out to him and then some people I met at like Guitar Center or something to see who would be interested in forming a band. So it was really just taking the steps to put myself out there, which is as you know, really scary and vulnerable sometimes.
Yes, that really is hard to do, but it sounds like you have a history of making some power moves like that. So that's a really great quality to have, even though it is scary. I mean, I think that's it's a good example that you're laying out for everybody watching, is that, underneath it all, I think ultimately we are all scared when we're making those power moves, but just making them anyways. And your story really exemplifies how, you know, just the smallest little occurrences, the smallest little events happen, like meeting someone and hearing them mention that they're a producer at a barbecue, simply introducing yourself, and how that leads from one thing to the next, to the next, to the next. It's really amazing. That's how networking works. Just getting in and immersing yourself, and going out and just being genuine, making friends. And you really have to talk about yourself. And if you're not a super extrovert, that can be even more challenging.
Right.
Yeah. So we learned in your bio that you are also into fitness. Tell me how that fits into your life.
So I, in high school, was a cheerleader, and I also did musicals. I didn't mention that. I did,
Mhm.
musicals in high school.
Uh,
I never did the singing though. I just did backup
uh,
singing. I wasn't trying to be a lead because I was scared. But I did cheerleading, which was pretty competitive because we did competition. So I kind of, considered myself an athlete, but after high school, I didn't know much about how to apply any of that to a real workout. So I didn't
mm,
know about fitness or anything. So I kind of would go to the gym and things like that, but I definitely didn't have any experience, weightlifting or anything. And I also would, just play like softball and soccer and stuff. But that was, again, not really things that I think you could apply to your
yeah.
daily life. um, but after, I moved out to California and I was trying to really focus on music. I was trying to center myself and find things that I like and things that, again, would give me therapeutic feelings. So I started getting into yoga and I started getting into fitness. And this year I competed in my first bodybuilding competition, which was
Wow.
it was crazy. I can't believe I did it, but it was really fun. It taught me a lot about discipline and food and what you really do and don't need as far as like sugars and things like that.
Mhm.
Alcohol, I couldn't drink for the entire time that I was prepping for the competition. So I wouldn't say at that point in January that I had any kind of a drinking problem. I'd say I have a healthy relationship with alcohol now,
Mhm.
but that was definitely something that put me to the test. I had never done a 6-month thing where I couldn't drink any alcohol. So it was really awesome to, not ever wake up hungover or
Yeah.
not feel bloated or anything like that. So I also really loved that because I was just thinking, wow, in college I would drink every single night.
Mhm.
And it not that I was ever drinking alone, but still it was definitely not healthy. So now, yeah, it's all relative in becoming, I guess, who I want to be. And
Mhm.
the fitness, I would love to do another competition, but it took so much of my focus that for the last month or two leading up to the competition, I could not do a lot with my music. So I learned to love it and love that I could compete like that and do well as a natural athlete is what they call it. Someone that
Mhm.
doesn't take steroids. Um,
Okay.
I
A
I
natural
got
athlete.
yeah,
I like that.
I was like, "Oh, okay." I got 4th place in 2 categories, so that was just cool, and I was like, this is just showing me that if I put my mind to things that I can really do it. So
Mhm.
that's
Mhm.
yeah, that's the story.
That is amazing. I love that. We also learn in your bio that you are a champion of women finding their voices, and you have a mission to empower and inspire. Can you tell me more about that? Like why that's personal for you, and why you feel like you want that to be a part of your journey in music?
Sure. There's a few things um that I mean or there's a few reasons why I want to empower women. One of them relates to me dealing with misogynistic and sexist comments and treatment at my jobs. Um,
Mhm.
I worked for 2 solar companies um, in my, I guess, professional career, and I just never had the same treatment as men and always felt like I was being treated like a little kid, like I was always inferior. Um, if I ever wore anything tight, not that I would wear something inappropriate, but if I wore something form fitting, I would feel eyes on me or something. And I just didn't like that. And I just, in that regard, want to empower women to not allow that treatment.
Mhm.
Going through that definitely pushed me to quit my job more because I was definitely experiencing that at my most recent job.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I want to be a voice for women in that way and tell them not to allow it and don't put up with it because no one should feel the need to have to be in an environment like that.
Right. Right. It's epically frustrating to have to deal with that because it's your workplace, and we just assume, we should feel safe, we should feel comfortable to be in our environment and not feel like an object. You're there to do a job, you're there to get the work done, you're there as, an equal. And a lot of times it doesn't work out like that, and
Mhm.
even when you have very well-meaning coworkers, there just are certain people that just don't have an awareness of what their actions, what their words can do to you, and how that that can make you feel. Um, as you kind of bring this mission over into music, I think this is a great discussion because as female artists, you're putting yourself out there. You are on display. You are a visual and you're audible. Where we have so many of the senses involved in this. And so as women, we want to look great while we're performing. We want to evoke certain emotions, and sometimes that can be sensuality. It can be a lot of different things. So I'm curious to know, like, what your thoughts on that. Like, how as a female artist do you feel um, you can put yourself out there, be who you want to be, but also set that that boundary, or set the expectation to be respected, for who you are. And I'm obviously a firm believer that we should be able to dress however we want to dress, however you want, but you should never be made to feel inferior, or that that you don't have boundaries. What are your thoughts on that?
I, as much as I hated the treatment, would tell myself this is gearing you up for bigger things, bigger, you know, things in my music career that I will need to stand firm and not allow, anyone to even see that I'm insecure or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
As far as performing and that side of it, I think a great way for us to combat it is definitely not drinking a lot at a show and just kind of remaining professional and showing people you're there as or you don't mind that they're there as a fan, but you make it kind of a quick hi and bye and thank you so much for coming. And it's difficult for me because a lot of friends want to buy you a drink and want to hang out with you. And yeah, it's kind of a fine line, but as I've grown and been in situations at shows where I have had way too much while I'm performing or right after, to the point where I don't, I don't remember all the people that I was trying to say hi to and things like that. It's more important to just remain professional and like your true self than allow it to maybe get to that point.
That's really, really great advice. I think the point that you're making, as we wait on the world of men to learn to control themselves and not put that burden on females, I love the point that you're making, that you have to be your own protector. You have to be your own bodyguard. And I like that you have ideas ahead of time about how, you want to conduct yourself and how you want to protect yourself. But I think that branches out into so many other areas, in the music industry. That can be at a live performance, after the show, before the show, during the show. And it can be in the studio. It can be, when you are meeting new contacts. And when, we're in this business where a lot of artists are lured into production situations with promises. And I think that puts you in a tough situation, because when someone is making a lot of promises to you, it can potentially, make you feel like you owe them something, or that, you're kind of at their whim, and can lead to, vulnerable situations. But, I love the advice that you're giving. And I think it's good for young female and male artists to hear this, that
Mhm.
prepare yourself ahead of time, know yourself, know what your boundaries are, think of some potential scenarios that you might find yourself in, and how will you respond? How will you act? Like for instance, after a show for you, even if you have had drinks, you maybe it just means that you need to be with a group of people that you can rely on,
Mhm.
that can look out for you and help you out, but also just knowing, if you're not interested in talking to people, you're just not interested, and you don't owe anybody anything, any
Right.
conversations.
So
Yeah.
true. I've definitely been in a situation with a photographer that was very uncomfortable, and now again, like, as much as I hate thinking about those things, I just think, okay, this is preparing me for the future. And now I know never, if I'm going to meet someone new, bring someone with me and drive, myself, or make sure that I'm safe, kind of thing.
Mhm.
So that's one side of my voice for women.
Mhm.
The other side is more positive and exciting, but I've been, wanting to make an impact on mental health because it's something, close to my heart, and especially with young women, because I felt that I struggled a lot with, again, understanding my emotions. And I recently gotten in contact with a nonprofit in San Marcos where I'm going to be leading workshops for the young women that live there between the ages of 12 and 18. And I'm just, I'm going to show them the amazing ways that you can find your therapy or your outlets, whether it be with gardening or writing a song or painting, or even, showing them a self-care kit or something, and like having them kind of sit down and be like, okay, these are our self-care items. Here's a bath bomb. Here's some face mist. Here's these little
Mhm.
things. And whenever you feel sad, just go over to your little box and like spray your face with face mist and just be grateful for these couple things.
Mhm.
Um, it's a mental health center, so I'm really excited about that, and that's, just another way that I do want to impact women.
That's amazing. I love that so much. Do you think that you'll be sharing your journey as a musical artist, or is this completely kind of a separate thing from music? Because in my mind, I was thinking, you know, how inspiring for, young preteen and teenage girls to see somebody who is really doing this. I mean,
Mhm.
what a dream for so many young girls to like. I mean, everybody says they want to be a singer when they grow up, but to
Right.
have someone like in the flesh there with them, kind of giving them guidance. Do you think you'll talk about that?
Yeah, I have ideas to bring my friend in who's a really amazing artist, and have us play some songs together, and then kind of segue into, my life and what it developed into, and how I found, songwriting could just be so powerful, and where it led my life. So I
Yeah.
I'm excited to show them where I am and be a mentor for them.
That's so great. I love that. I am I'm going to be putting your all of your social media handles in the chat here in just a second. And while I'm doing that, why don't you tell me a little bit more about what you have on the horizon, what gigs you've got coming up, and where you'd like people to go to check out more about you.
Yeah, I will be releasing another song here pretty soon. I'm just working on a couple of backup harmony vocals and different things. So I'm hoping that will be done within the next month and a half and released and everything. So I would say in December, you can definitely expect another song from me.
Yay.
I'll also be having a gig, like I said, at the same location that we shot the video. So if you didn't see it yet and you're joining late, you can definitely go to my YouTube and watch the video and get excited for my gig with a full band, which I haven't played with a full band for a year. So it's going to be amazing. And it'll be on December 9th at 9 p.m. It's a Friday, so that's going to be fun.
And that's at 7
And
grand, right?
yes.
Okay.
And I'm going to be playing at the holding company in February. We're still kind of figuring a couple of things out with that, and some wineries as well coming up. So I'm slowly kind of booking things with a band again, after kind of working on music and just developing for the past year. So that's what I have coming up.
I love it. Here come those social media handles, your website, and a link to the YouTube video. It's a lot. I'll make sure that I put them in the show notes as well. Um, it's been really, really great hearing about, you know, your journey and all of the things that you have had to overcome. You have had some You've had to make big decisions in your life. I mean, I'm still thinking about moving all the way from New Jersey to California, you know, to do this and just having to put yourself out there time and time again. Um, and you've overcome them. Not only that, you're helping the next generation of singers, you know, learn how to be empowered and accomplish what they want to accomplish too. So with that, I'd love to know, what is it that makes you unstoppable?
I think for me, it's just trying time and time again. And even if sometimes I fail, I have come so far from where I was back in New Jersey. And that alone is inspiring to me. Doing the bodybuilding competition, doing this video, and starting a journey as a solo artist. I think for me, it's just more and more good things are happening, and I think that alone just makes me unstoppable. And seeing just where I've come with my relationships and relationship to alcohol and confidence, I've just surprised myself and made really big changes for the better and seen myself grow. And I think, if I can go a few months, 6 months, on a crazy diet with barely any carbs, without drinking alcohol,
Yeah.
eating tilapia at 5 in the morning. It's like, if I can go through that and then, go after so many rejections, just keep trying to do something in music, it just kind of tells me that my journey's not over and that I just need to keep going.
Mhm. Yeah, that's great. I love it. Thank you so much for taking the time to join me tonight. It's really inspiring to hear your story, and your video is amazing. I can't wait to
Thank you.
hear what you have up your sleeve next. I will be on the sidelines, you know, rooting for you, cheerleading for you. But I really
Mhm.
appreciate you coming on and sharing your inspiration and sharing some very vulnerable, you know, parts of yourself. That's I think it's going to really be important for a lot of the our listeners to hear. And I
Mhm.
also want to thank everybody that joined us live tonight. So
Yeah.
happy to have you here with us. We're going to give Lissa her evening back, and don't forget to go check out her video on YouTube. I have all of her social media links in the comments, so please like and follow everything that she does. And we can't wait to see where you go next with everything.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It's been so much fun.
Great. Awesome. Thank you and good night, everybody.